Hello aspirants, we'll be doing the polity section of this particular question paper. So the first question is, which of the following statements about Article 15 are correct? Option A, the state shall not discriminate against any citizen on grounds only of religion, race, caste, sex, place of birth or any of them. Option B, nothing in this article shall prevent the state from making any special provision for women and children. Statement 3, equality before law. So if we see here, they are asking about the Article 15 of the Constitution, which talks about the prohibition of discrimination. So the first statement, the state shall not discriminate anyone, any citizen against the ground of religion, race, caste, sex and birth. So this statement is correct statement. The second statement is, nothing in this article shall prevent the state from making any special provision for women and children. Yes, this is true. The state, the government can provide some special provision for women and children, like reservation of women in the local bodies or providing free education for the children. So this statement is also correct. And if we see statement 3, it talks about the equality before law. If you see, this particular provision is part of Article 14 of the Constitution. It is not related to Article 15. So this particular statement is wrong. So what is the correct answer? A and B. That is option 2. A and B is the correct answer. Now let us go to the next question. So if you see here, the next question is, which of the following article of Indian Constitution is not related to economic safeguards provided to the scheduled caste? Statement 1, that is Article 34. Statement 2, Article 23. Option 3, Article 46. And option 4, Article 24. So if you see, this Article 24 and Article 23, these are the part of the fundamental rights, that is the right against exploitation. So this particular article, Article 23, talks about the prohibition of forced labor and bonded labors. So again, the majority of the people who are in the bonded labor or forced labor are the scheduled caste. So this particular provision would be correct. And if you see Article 24, it talks about the prohibition of child labor. Again, directly it is not talking about the scheduled caste, but indirectly most of the people or most of the children who are suffered because of this bonded child labor, that is of scheduled caste. So this particular option is also correct. And if we see the next option, that is Article 34 of the Constitution, this also belongs to fundamental right, but it talks about the restriction of fundamental rights during the martial law. So this is not at all related to the scheduled caste. And if you see this article, Article 46 of the Constitution, this belongs to the DPSP, the Directive Principles of State Policy, and it provides for the promotion of education and economic status of scheduled caste, scheduled tribe and weaker section. So this is also there. So they are asking which of the following is not related to the scheduled caste. That is option number A, option number 1, that is Article 34 of the Constitution. So let us go to the next question. So if you see here, the next question is, match the following acts with the year. So the first statement, the SC and ST Prevention of Atrocities Act. Statement B, National Commission for Safai Karamcharis Act. Statement C, that is Child Labour Protection of Regulation Act. Statement D, Rights of Persons with Disabilities Act, and they have given certain years, 2016, 1986, 1993 and 1983. So if you see here, the SC and ST Prevention of Atrocities Act, this is nothing but the 1989, and the National Commission for Safai Karamcharis, that is 1993. The Child Labour Prohibition of Regulation Act, that is 1986, and the Rights of Persons with Disability Act is nothing but 2006. So what is the correct answer? The answer is 4321 Option 1 is the correct answer. Now let us go to the next question. If you see here, the next question is, consider the following statements. They have given assertion, the democratic decentralization provided space for the deprived and marginalized social sections for their collective bargains and to get their due share in the local governance and development process. And they have given the reason, that is decentralization and the democratization process helps to protect the interest of the most excluded social groups like scheduled caste, scheduled tribe and women. So if you see the first statement, that is the assertion, they are talking about the democratic decentralization. Yes, it provided the space for the deprived and the marginalized people section of the society to bargain, to enjoy the share in the local government, and it will also help the development process. So this particular statement is correct. If you see the reason, that is decentralization and democratization process, it helps to protect the interest of the most excluded social groups like scheduled caste, scheduled tribes and women. Yes, this particular statement is also correct, and the reason is the correct reason for the assertion. So the correct answer would be both A and R are true, and R is the correct explanation of A. Option 3 is the correct answer. So if you see here, the next question is, consider the following in relation to the election of the members of the parliament. Statement A, that is Lok Sabha members are elected directly on the basis of adult suffrage. Statement B, Rajya Sabha members are indirectly elected on the basis of proportional representation by the members of the state legislative assembly. And if you see the third statement, that is a few Rajya Sabha members are nominated by the Prime Minister for special knowledge. Statement D, that is Rajya Sabha members are allotted to each state based on the geographical area. So the first statement is Lok Sabha members are directly elected on the basis of adult suffrage. Yes, this is true. They are directly elected. Then Rajya Sabha members are indirectly elected on the basis of proportional representation by the members, elected members of the state legislative assembly. This statement is also correct. And if you see here the third statement, a few Rajya Sabha members are nominated by the Prime Minister. No, the members of Rajya Sabha who are nominated by the President of India. So this statement is wrong. And if you see the fourth statement, Rajya Sabha members are allotted to each state based on the geographical location, geographical area. No, this is wrong. They are based on the population of that particular state. Let's say in terms of geographical area, we know that the Rajasthan is the largest state in the country, but UP has the majority of the seats allocated to the Rajya Sabha. So technically it is based on the population and it is not based on the geographical area. So we can eliminate these two options. So what is the correct answer? The answer would be A and B. That is option 4. So let us go to the next question. So the next question is, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar on the debate of due process in the Constituent Assembly observed that statement A, it involves the relationship between the legislature and the judiciary. Statement B, in federal system, it is about judiciary deciding the law as ultra vires or intra vires. Statement C, that is it involves the adjustment of the federal arrangement. So if you see the due process of law, it talks about three things. What is that? Whether if the legislature, that is the parliament, is coming up with a law, then the judiciary has the power to check whether this particular law is made by the competent authority. The second question is whether this particular law has been made by proper procedure. And the third question is whether this particular law is fair, reasonable and just. It is not arbitrary. So if you see here in the first statement, they have given that it involves the relation between the legislature and the judiciary. Yes, it talks about the relationship between the legislature and the judiciary, because the laws which are done enacted by the legislature, that has been checked by the judiciary whether it is fair and reasonable. So the first statement is correct. Then if you see the second statement, in federal system, it is about judiciary deciding a law as ultra vires or intra vires. So yes, in case of a federal system, when there is any particular law, whether to check whether it is constitutionally valid, the judiciary has the power to check the constitutionality of that particular law, and the judiciary, the Supreme Court or the High Court, they will decide whether it is an ultra vires or an intra vires. Ultra vires is nothing but something non-constitutional, or whether it is constitutional. So this statement is also correct. And if you see the third statement, that is, it involves the adjustment of the federal arrangement. No, this is not correct. So the correct answer is A and B, that is statement 2. So if you see the next question, match the following articles of the Constitution of India with their provision. This side they have given the articles, and this side they have given the provisions. So the first statement is Article 14, Article 16, Article 17, Article 18. So this side they have given that abolition of untouchability, equality of opportunity in public employment, equality before law, and abolition of titles. So if you see here the basic fact, that is Article 14 of the Constitution talks about equality before law. So that is the third one, third option. So if you find out only this thing, you can actually get the answer here, because A is related to 3. We have only one option like that. So the correct answer is option 3. Now let us go to the next question. The Parliament enacted the Untouchability Offences Act of 1955. Which of the following is the first case before the Supreme Court under the particular act? So the answer would be the state of Karnataka versus Appa Balu Ingale. So this is the correct answer. So if you see here, the next question is, consider the following in relation to Article 368 of the Constitution. Statement A, it says that it empowers the Parliament to amend the Constitution of India. Yes, this particular article, Article 368, talks about the amendment of the Constitution by the Parliament. And if you see option B, that is, it empowers the Parliament to amend the Constitution by 2/3 majority. Yes, this is also correct. It gives the special majorities needed for the amendment of the Constitution by the Parliament. And if you see the third statement, it does not empower the Parliament to amend the fundamental rights. No, this statement is wrong. Why? Because the Parliament has the power to amend the fundamental rights. Then if you see the statement D, that is, the Parliament can amend any provisions of the Constitution except for the basic structure. So this particular statement is also correct. So what is the correct answer? A, B and D. That is the correct answer. The answer is 4. So the next question is, consider the following statements. Statement A, the Supreme Court has recognized that casting of vote is a form of speech. Then the statement B is, the voter has the right to know the antecedents of the candidate who is contesting the election. So if you see here, yes, the Supreme Court has recognized that the casting of vote is the form of speech. It is included in Article 19 of the Constitution, which talks about the freedom of speech and expression. And if you see the statement B, the voter has the right to know the back story of the candidates. So this statement is also correct. So the correct answer would be both A and both B are true. So the next question, which of the following pairs are corrected in relation to the articles, that is, of DPSP, Directive Principles of State Policy? Article 39A, Article 43A, Article 48A and Article 51A. So they given that free legal aid, workers participation in the management of the industry, safeguarding rights of the children, promote international peace and security. So if you see here, yes, Article 39A talks about the free legal aid. This statement is correct. Then Article 43A, it talks about the participation of workers in the industry, management of industry. This is also correct. And if you see Article 48A of the Constitution, no, this is wrong. It talks about the protection of the environment. So this particular statement is wrong. And if you see the next statement, that is Article 51, yes, it talks about the promotion of international peace and security. So they are asking which of the following is not correctly matched. So the correct answer is option C. No, wait. So they are asking which of the following is correct. So the correct answer would be A, B and D. That is statement 1. That is the correct answer. So the next question, the role of State Election Commission is to conduct elections of the community based organizations, to conduct elections to the state legislature, to conduct elections to the local bodies, to conduct election to the state cooperatives. So the basic function of the State Election Commission is to conduct the elections for the local bodies, for the panchayats and the municipal bodies. And the Election Commission of India is responsible for the conduct of election in the state legislature. So the correct answer would be statement 3, to conduct election to the local bodies. And if you see here the next question, the Constitution 4th Amendment Act of 1955 introduced the concept of eminent domain. So what is this concept? So the first statement is the police power to detain persons for public purpose. Statement B, the power to impose taxes on citizens for public welfare. Statement C, the legal capacity to take private property for public purpose. Statement D, the legal capacity to share the public burden. So technically this eminent domain talks about the power of the government to take, to acquire any public property, any private property for a public purpose. So statement C is the only correct answer. So the answer is 4, that is C only. So if you see here, the next question is which of the following is an essential feature of a federal constitution? Distribution of power, election commission, supremacy of judiciary, parliamentary supremacy. So they are talking about the federal feature of the Constitution of India. So statement 1 is talking about distribution of power. The distribution of power is mentioned in the 7th schedule of the Constitution, where it talks about the distribution of power between the center and the state. We have union list, we have state list, and we have concurrent list. So this is nothing but the federal feature of the Indian Constitution which we have. This is the correct answer. And if you see the other options, these are not related to the federal features. In case of this option 3, supremacy of judiciary, no, we don't have supremacy of judiciary, we have independent judiciary, so that in case there is any dispute between the union and the state government, the independent judiciary will come and take a correct action. So this is wrong. If you see the parliamentary supremacy in India, no, we don't have any parliamentary supremacy, we have constitutional supremacy. So again, these 3 statements are wrong. Only the distribution of powers is the correct answer. So that's all with the polity section. Thank you, students.